The rise of super teams in cycling has had an unfortunate side effect. Riders who could have been superstars have ended up becoming very good domestiques. One of these riders was Edvald Boasson Hagen. The Norwegian rider came onto the scene with heaps of promise and had a 16-year-long professional career. In that time, he racked up 81 total wins, a number that actually doesn't accurately reflect how good he was and how much bigger that total could have been. Of course, 81 wins is no small feat. We've narrowed it down here to the 4 that mattered most and that exemplified Boasson Hagen the best. During Boasson Hagen's second professional year, he would win his first and somehow only cobbled classic. He was here to try and support the team, especially leader Mark Cavendish. It's a rainy and windy day, conditions perfectly suiting the Norwegian. With the wind, the race was split multiple times into different echelons, and Boasson Hagen was always in the front one. On the second ascent of the Kemmelberg, Boasson Hagen takes a shot, attacking and accelerating away. He bridges up to the solo leader on the road, and now he's in a position to win with the two working in tandem. Behind, Boasson Hagen's teammates on Team Columbia are covering every move, being disruptive and trying to slow down the pace as much as they can. As the leading duo headed into Wevelgem, Boasson Hagen was sitting in second wheel and accelerates first, using his long-lasting power to keep the pedals churning for almost 450 meters. And he takes the win, a display of raw talent and energy. In 2011, now on Team Sky, Boasson Hagen is still a young phenom full of promise. He's already taken a stage win in the 2011 Tour de France in a brutal sprint finish on stage 6. With team leader and GC contender Bradley Wiggins having to withdraw from the tour due to a broken collarbone, Team Sky has coalesced around Boasson Hagen to pursue more stage wins. On stage 16, Boasson Hagen was in the lead breakaway with 2 riders, both from Team Garmin, Canadian rider Heyerdahl and fellow Norwegian Tor Hushovd. On a rainy descent into Gap, the trio extended their lead, ensuring that the stage win would fall to one of them. Heading towards the finish, Heyerdahl led out the final sprint, leaving the 2 countrymen to do battle. Hushovd, the world champion, the more experienced of the 2, took the win. So a day later, on stage 17, Boasson Hagen is again in the breakaway. He's learned from yesterday that the easiest way to win a sprint is to be the only one in it. When he attacks with 11 kilometers to go, he's demonstrating one of the key skills he has, an ability to win in multiple ways. He may not be a true 5-tool player, but he's got at least 3 of them: sprinting, hills, and raw power. When he comes to the line, he can revel in this moment, a full celebration, highlighting the sponsors and taking the second of what we thought would be many, many iconic stage wins. This isn't what ended up happening. As we mentioned in the opening, being on a super team when you aren't the superstar but a potential star means 2 things. First, and perhaps most importantly, a big paycheck. Secondly, the inevitability that you will sacrifice your own chances at winning major races in service of the superstar. And yes, Boasson Hagen did have chances to win stages in the years he spent at Team Sky, but it was often on his own, freestyling, doing what he could with little help. It was during this time that he had a bit of a drought of wins anywhere, getting none in 2014. It was in 2015 when he moved to MTN Quebec, which would become Dimension Data, that he had a revival, getting to be a dedicated team leader more often than not. While he wouldn't perform at the same level as those early years, there were times when the clock would turn back. The 2017 Tour de France is heading on the way to a finish in Toulon de Provence. The breakaway, including Boasson Hagen, has made it all the way to the 5 kilometers to go marker with a 10-minute gap. And as a stage victory is up for grabs, all hell starts to break loose. It's Boasson Hagen attacking and then attacking again. And the breakaway is all strung out, but not gone yet. The next 2 kilometers are filled with repeated attacks and tempo efforts back and forth. At 2.5 kilometers to go, Boasson Hagen responds to an attack and then pushes the pace, riding solo, an effort much like the one 6 years ago. The end result at this point was never in doubt. Boasson Hagen turned back the clock and savored the moment on the world's biggest stage. But the victory that we think exemplifies Boasson Hagen best was 2 years earlier. Here's what didn't happen at the 2015 Tour of Britain: Boasson Hagen winning a stage. Here's what did happen. Boasson Hagen demonstrated every skill in his handbook to take the overall classification, from competing in the sprint finish on stage 2 to hanging in on the hilliest day of stage 5 in order to pull on the yellow jersey, and then finish in the top 5 of each remaining stage to claim the overall win in London. This was the most Boasson Hagen performance possible. Incredibly consistent, always there, but maybe lacking the ultimate killer instinct. In all, Boasson Hagen will be remembered as one of the parts of a legendary generation of Norwegian cyclists, a well-liked rider who was incredibly good at his job, but maybe we'll always wonder what his career would have looked like if he didn't sign for a team like Sky.